Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to take you through a few things that I use to boost the kids' immunity, particularly around winter and this sort of transitional period between summer and cooler weather. There's a lot of things here that they're not things that we use all at once. I do have a blog post that goes into detail and details a lot of the things here, how they're used, why they're really good to use and things like that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video or it will get really long, but I just wanted to take you through some of the things that we use. Before I go ahead and say anything, I do want to stress that I'm not a doctor. I don't have medical training. If you have a medical problem or a medical history that needs to be considered prior to consuming any of these things, then please consult a qualified healthcare practitioner and don't just take advice off the internet as gospel, basically. These are just things that I do with my children that work for us, and I'm sharing them with you. But obviously, do your own research and consult your own doctor before you try any of these things. Okay, so to jump right in, I think what might be helpful is if I tell you what we do on a daily basis. So we don't obviously use all of the things here on a daily basis. There are some things that I use to prevent them getting sick, and there are things that I use if they have gotten sick to help them get over it a lot quicker. So as far as preventing them getting sick goes, we use flaxseed oil and honey, which I've mixed together in here just for ease of showing you how it's done. You could actually just spoon the oil. You could actually just put the oil onto the spoon and some honey onto the spoon and give it to your child like that every day. But sometimes it just gets so hectic in the morning that I'd rather sort of have it all mixed together like this, and then I could just pick it up, give them a spoon each, and be done with it. So that's one of the things that we do. Flaxseed oil and honey every day. Doesn't matter whether it's the summer, winter, whatever. This is every day. There's a number of benefits to this, and they're all linked in the blog post, which is below. But if you and be mindful of the quality of the flaxseed oil that you're getting. I've listed things that you need to look out for in my blog post. The flaxseed oil that I buy is from Sunna Skincare. I have linked them in the blog post as well. Another thing that we use on a regular basis during the winter is sambucol, which is elderberry syrup. This helps to support the immune system, and this also has vitamin C in it. And there's about 5 ml that you need to use on a daily basis. And then they do recommend more if your child is sick or something like that. Oh, sorry. Yes, it says for winter use twice daily, and for just all around the year it's just 5 ml once a day. But I don't do twice daily, otherwise we'd get through this way too quickly. It's not super expensive, but with 2 children, it's not cheap either. The 120 ml is probably going to last us the month, maybe a month and a half. I really want to try making my own elderberry syrup. I just have had a hard time finding organic dried elderberries, but when I do, I will share the recipe with you. I definitely want to have it done before we finish this bottle. You could use a syringe to give this to them, but it comes with like a little cap. So you could use that to dispense the 5 ml. I like using the syringe just because they like this, so it's not difficult to give them this. But sometimes if they're moaning about any of the other things, giving it to them in a syringe is a lot easier because it just hits the back of the mouth, and then you don't have to, and then they just swallow. You don't have to really argue with them about it too much. Another thing that we do on a daily basis is the vitamin D. These are vitamin D3 drops, and they're sugar-free ones. We've been using these for a couple of years now, so I've never really changed brands. This is a new bottle that we've got, but it's really easy to dispense this. It doesn't really taste like much at all, and you just, so it's usually just 0.5 ml that you give them, and it's in a dropper like that, so it's fairly easy to dispense. This is really good for bone and teeth support, and one of my children has milk allergies, so I feel a lot more comfortable that he's getting the required amount of vitamin D with these drops. As always, there are things to bear in mind with giving vitamins. I have put little notes for each thing in my blog post, so please make sure you read those as well. So those are the three things that I use on a regular basis. I do use probiotics as well. On a regular basis, not necessarily every day, because they are expensive, and I don't necessarily feel like my children need them every day. But these are very good, again, for children's immune systems, and I found that they have worked really well for my son, again, who has allergies, and whose gut needs a little bit of help. These ones are new ones, actually, that we've got. I've never tried this. We've had them since we've got them, but I've never tried this brand before, basically. They're these little pearls. This is what they look like. I'm going to put an image of what it looks like in my son's hand. He's 4. They're meant to put them at the back of their mouth and then just swallow them, which was a bit difficult for my son initially because he was so keen to chew them. And I kept telling him, no, just swallow, just put them at the back of your mouth and swallow. And he got there in the end, so that was all right. But this is another really good way to boost their immune system. The other brand that we had prior to this, which we've only got a few sachets left of, is the Biocult, which is a really good brand. It comes in this box, and you get these little sachets and you mix them with water, milk, or food. I find that this is a lot easier to do with babies, and like basically where they're definitely drinking it because you've dispensed it into a bottle or whatever, so they've drunk it. Whereas with toddlers, sometimes they drink a little bit, they've left it, and then you've wasted that because you don't know if the bacteria has been killed off by that time or whatever. So these sachets I think are better for younger children, but for the age my children are at now, I think we're going to go with these and see how these work out for us. I've linked everything in the blog post. The other thing that I do as well is aromatherapy. So we will diffuse these once the winter hits. We tend to diffuse this in the house using our humidifier. And these are essential oils. So we've got pine needle here. They're in a great state. We've got frankincense and eucalyptus. They're all from Sinner Skincare. Again, I've linked them down below, and they basically really help to boost immunity. They help to fight viral infections. They help with eczema even, and psoriasis, which I suffer from really badly in the winter. So I try to get this going as quickly as possible before the symptoms come in, and then I'm trying to battle them basically. And there's loads of other benefits. I have linked a humidifier in my blog post if you don't have one and you're looking for one to buy. And these as well are all from Sinner Skincare, which I have linked as well. Now, the other thing that I do, but not every day, this is just every other day, is omega-3, which again is really, really important, especially if you're not getting a diet that is very rich in fish oils or omega-3 acids. These ones, I used to buy a different brand, but I've gone with this one just because it's a lot more affordable, and they actually send you 2 bottles. These 2 bottles of these, and they were £15, which is good value for the amount that you're getting and the amount that you need to use. So the intake is 5 ml, and every other day for both the kids. That isn't too bad. The flavoring isn't too bad. Kids aren't going to love this. There is another brand that has like an orange flavor. That is a lot more pricey. I will link that brand actually down below just in case any of you want to check it out. But I find it a lot more pricier. So I preferred, I just wanted to look for something else. And I thought that this would be a good alternative. So this one again is 5 ml every day, but not every day. We use it every other day. And of course, you want to look at the dosage instructions on your own bottle. But again, omega-3 is another great thing to use just for overall health, really, and as well as boosting their immune system. Now, the things that I use when they have already gotten sick is I use oregano oil. You need to be very, very careful with this because it is a very, very strong oil. This particular brand is already diluted with olive oil, so it's not as strong. But please make sure that the one that you buy, you know what's in it, basically. What I do with this is you should never use this oil on its own. It always has to be used with a carrier oil, which is why this one is mixed with olive oil, and it's just a lot easier to use. If you have children under 5 like mine, I apply it externally to the bottom of their feet, so the soles of their feet and the spine, if they've got a cold or whatever. And if you have not purchased this brand, to do that you will need to dilute it with another oil to apply it to your children. If you have children that are over 5 or 5 to 10, you can start with 1 to 3 drops a day, and you can put this in their juice or milk. It has to be added to a flavored liquid. It has a very, very strong smell, very strong taste as well. So literally 1 to 3 drops, and in a flavored liquid. For children over 10, you can do 3 drops a day. One of the last things that I do is if the kids are already fighting a cold or a fever, or have a fever or are ill in whatever way, I will make them an apple cider vinegar tea. So you want to get apple cider vinegar, and you want to make sure that it's a really good quality vinegar. So it needs to be organic, raw, and it has to contain the mother. So you will know that it does if you see these little bits. They look a bit cloudy in the bottle itself. That's how you know that you have a good apple cider vinegar. I have linked one of the most popular brands in my blog post, but I've also given you options for where else to buy it. Sunna Skincare sells it as well. So if you want to support a small business, that would be a good thing to do. So I will usually put in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, like that, and then add a little bit of honey, just whatever honey you use, to sweeten it, and then add in your hot water. So what you need to do really is taste it, and just go with what your child would like. If you do have to sweeten it quite considerably for them to take it initially, that's fine. Just go with what they'd be happy with, really. And then you can always cut back on the honey later when they've sort of gotten used to the taste, because it's quite an acquired taste, apple cider vinegar. But that is what it will look like. I usually just put it in a bottle for them, or in a cup or something, and then they just they drink it up. If they really, really do not want to drink it, and are quite unhappy about it, then I add a couple of drops to this mixture. And I give this to them, and I give it to them like that, basically. And other things that you can do as well, that I don't necessarily have recipes for, but I just sort of use ad hoc whenever necessary, is turmeric. Turmeric is so good for bringing down inflammation. You could toss some turmeric in here. You could toss some turmeric just in their milk and make it warm for them, and that will bring down the inflammation if they have a sore throat or anything like that. Using ginger and garlic is really good. Cutting down on sugary foods and refined foods will help them recover better as well, and prevent them from getting sick in the first place. Bone broth is a really good one as well, that I really want to start trying with the kids, and since I've got the Instant Pot, I want to try and make our own in there. If I do end up doing it, I'll share a recipe with you guys. But that's pretty much what I do with my children to help keep them as healthy as possible, really. I mean, if they get sick, they get sick, but if we can prevent it so that we're all not sick at the same time, and it doesn't kind of go round and we're all down and out, that would be brilliant. So I hope that this video has been helpful. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with somebody else that you think will find it helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.